fans, I am your host Gina J, and we are here for another Smackdown live review. Smackdown started out today with Paige coming out, kind of talking about the matches that happened at Backlash, giving everybody a summary, I guess you would say, of what happened, nothing that we all didn't know already. And she announces the matches for tonight, which we all pretty much knew since last night, since they decided to announce them on Raw for some odd reason. But so she kind of gives the rundown in the ring and then exits the ring. That takes us into Jeff Hardy versus The Miz for the Money in the Bank qualifier match. This match was great. There was a lot of back and forth action. Whether you like Miz or not, the guy is phenomenal in the ring. He can make it work with anybody. I am a huge Jeff Hardy fan. I have been a Jeff Hardy fan since I was a teenage girl. I still kind of mark the freak out, when he comes out every once in a while. So I really enjoy when these two get in the ring together. Tonight in particular, like I said, there was a lot of back and forth action, a lot of near falls. At one point in time, Jeff Hardy hit a swanton bomb. He hit a twist of fate followed by a swanton bomb, in which we all believe that that's going to get him the pinfall victory. However, The Miz performed a wonderful reversal and was able to score the pinfall. So The Miz came out as the third Money in the Bank qualifier for that match. Next, we had a promo from the bar with Sheamus eating Lucky Charms because he was upset about his loss to Xavier Woods last week. I had to kind of chuckle a little bit at this one just because, we all know Sheamus is Irish and it's the Lucky Charms, that he just happens to be eating. It's kind of just a ridiculous little pun that they do there. I honestly think after watching this ridiculous promo that they cut, I honestly think that the bar is going to get split up again, just because there's a lot of competition going between Sheamus and Cesaro. There always has been, but as of late, it kind of seems like it's starting to turn from healthy competition into almost a rivalry of who can do it better. This cuts to Cesaro opened up his bag, and there's pancakes in the bag. And then Sheamus also gets pancakes in his bag. The bar goes nuts. It's just an absolutely ridiculous segment in general, but it kind of gives us a little feedback into what may happen with the bar in the future, especially after the result of the match later on in the evening, which I will get back to as we go further along. Next up, we had an interview with Renee and Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura comes out and says that he can all of a sudden speak English. We find out that Shinsuke nor AJ Styles have been cleared to wrestle tonight. So then Shinsuke says that he forgot English, but now he remembers. So Renee says, well, before you forget to speak English, can you tell us what you want to say to AJ Styles? And he says, AJ Styles nuts, but so am I. We are not finished. This was kind of just a really silly little promo that kind of took some jabs at, the nut shots that they did, the below the belt hits from both Nakamura and AJ Styles that we've seen from Backlash. Obviously, the rivalry is not done. I am super excited about that. I think that they need to let these two go and let them show us what they can really do, because I know as of late they have not been showing what they can really do. I mean, they're out there and they're putting on a good show and everything, but if anybody out there watched and New Japan Wrestling, we know what they can really give us, and I really wish that WWE would just kind of let them go and let them give it to us. There were just a lot of promos tonight for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. We had promos from Naomi, Shelton Benjamin, and just a whole bunch of other people. I really don't like what the WWE is doing with the whole like selfie camera promo that they've been doing, where the wrestlers just, cut their own promo on their cell phones. It's it seems a little unprofessional for a multi-billion-dollar business to me, but whatever floats their boat. Either way around, the promos are getting done, and business is going on as usual. I don't really like when they have so many promos going on during an event such as Raw, SmackDown, even a pay-per-view. Um, you know, a few backstage promos is normal, but when you have over half of the show and most of it is promos, then we have a problem. The next actual match that we've seen was Charlotte Flair versus Peyton Royce for another Money in the Bank qualifying match. All I have to say is, can somebody please make Billie Kay shut the hell up already? These two annoy me to no extent. They're almost on the level of Carmella. Don't get me wrong. They both, as well as Carmella, all of them are incredibly talented women, incredibly talented superstars. However, their incessant screaming and their need to talk all the time just gets on my last nerve, and I can't stand it. So if she could just shut up, that'd be great. They came down, yapping their mouths like usual. Charlotte came out fierce. She looked really good in the beginning. However, Royce took over after Billie Kay kind of distracted Charlotte for a little bit there. And Royce was looking really, really good. There were lots of near falls on both sides. Kind of went back and forth, but ultimately it ended up with Charlotte locking in a figure 8 leg lock and Royce tapping out for the Flair victory. So now we're going to see Charlotte Flair as the second women's Money in the Bank qualifier. Next up, we had Xavier Woods versus Xavier Woods. I said it again. Xavier Woods, versus Cesaro. If you ever hear me say Xavier Rhodes by chance, I'm from Minnesota and I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan. So we have an Xavier Rhodes on the Vikings. So just so you know, I'm not just coming out with that name out of nowhere. I'm used to hearing it from watching football, so it kind of embedded itself in my head. I try not to say it, but every once in a while I will accidentally call Xavier Woods Xavier Rhodes. So please forgive me and bear with me on that. Xavier Woods versus Cesaro. This match for me kind of started out really slow. It started out with Cesaro kind of messing with Woods, batting his head around a little bit. As the match went on, it kind of it increased and it got better. Xavier Woods, I almost said it again. See? But Xavier Woods is an incredibly talented superstar. I mean, any match that he is in, whether it be against the Usos or against the Bludgeon Brothers or against individual talent such as Cesaro, his matches are, you never really know what to expect from him, and I love that about a superstar. I love when they give me something that I'm not anticipating. The crowd started chanting at one point in time, "We want pancakes," to which, of course, the New Day went nuts and was throwing pancakes all around in the crowd. I like this gimmick, but at the same time, I think that it kind of takes away from the actual wrestling going on in the ring, such as in that moment. Pancakes started flying all over the place, and I was so busy paying attention to the fun that was happening on the outside of the ring that I almost lost track of what was actually happening in the ring. So I think that they should cut it back a little bit as far as when the match is actually happening. Now, the pancake gimmick, it's fun. It's their thing. So, of course, I think that they should keep doing it. They're making it work, just not so much, during the actual wrestling match. At one point in time, there was an amazing reversal backdrop done by Xavier Woods. Sheamus then got up on the apron. Cesaro went for the cover. However, his feet were up on the rope, and the ref couldn't see it. So just before the 3 count came, Kofi Kingston came and knocked Cesaro's feet off of the ropes, and then Big E begins to throw pancakes at Sheamus, who is again on the ring apron. Kofi flies off the ropes and takes out Sheamus. And this allows Xavier Woods to climb up to the top rope. He's about ready to deliver his finisher. And then just as he's coming down, Cesaro hits him with an uppercut and gets the win. So Cesaro won on that one. As I was saying earlier, the competition that's going on between Sheamus and Cesaro right now, at certain times, I can see how it might work into the storyline that WWE is going to turn them on each other. Honestly, I think at some point in time that would be the best thing to do, especially, with Sheamus and his spinal stenosis diagnosis. I know that he's doing really well right now, but unfortunately with spinal stenosis, my mother has it, so I know that it is a deteriorating disease. So you never really know at what point in time you're going to be told that you can't go anymore. So I think it's a good idea to break them down into individual wrestlers. Not only that, but Cesaro is an amazing, amazing individual talent. I know that they really needed to do something with him and Sheamus, which is why they put them together, but I was a little upset when they did that because it takes away from Cesaro's individual talent. However, they made it work. The tag team, I didn't think that they were going to be able to make it work, but they did. They did, and the Bar is one of the best tag teams in the business. However, like I said, I do believe that they are eventually going to be broken up, and I think that they're going to use the almost like jealousy tactic to break them up. It's just going to be, it's going to turn from supportive competitiveness to a rivalry. Moving on. Next, we had a Renee interview with AJ Styles, who again was not cleared for tonight, and he basically just told Nakamura, if you're not done with me, then come at me, bring it, I'm ready. He made a little jab that Nakamura doesn't have the guts to come at him normally. We know that they're all referring to the low blow situations that have happened at Backlash and prior to that with Shinsuke Nakamura against AJ Styles. So it's really nothing new. I'm really glad that they're not stopping the rivalry. I really hope that they do let those two, I hope they let them loose. Next up, we had Becky Lynch versus Mandy Rose in Mandy Rose's debut match on SmackDown Live. Paige barred Sonya Deville from ringside right prior to the actual match, which I was really glad for, because we already see on Raw with the Riot Squad how there's so much interference that's happening in matches. And don't get me wrong, every once in a while you need interference in order to sell a story or make the match work in some form. However, there's been so much interference with the Riot Squad that I love the fact that they broke Absolution up and now they have Paige kind of trying to separate Mandy and Sonya. I think that it's going to come out that she's going to say that she's doing it for their own good so that they can learn to support themselves and not have to rely on other people. But anyway, Sonya Deville was banned from ringside. I just have to put this in there. It really has nothing to do with the match, but I cannot stand Mandy Rose's new entrance. In my personal opinion, Mandy Rose she's stunning. She's so beautiful. It's not even funny. We all know this already. But in an attempt to capture how beautiful she is, the WWE has made her appear robotic in a sense, because you have this weird fuzzy look to the camera, that soft look that kind of puts a little soft dreamy touch to it. the music's in the background, and then she's coming out and she's doing all these robotics, like sexual stances, and it's far too robotic for me. It doesn't look seductive at all, in my opinion. I just had to put that out there. Really don't like it. I really hope that it gets better. I think that if she kind of works and practices on her moves when she's coming out to the ringside a little bit more, then it may get a little bit better. But tonight, I know it was the first time, but I just didn't care for it at all. It was too robotic. Anyways, Rose actually looked really good after when the match first started. Becky Lynch was in control. She was going after Mandy Rose, so Mandy Rose ultimately went outside of the ring and took just a minute to catch a breather, gather her thoughts, whatever. But as soon as she came back into that ring, she was completely in control. Becky Lynch almost got the armbar in at one point in time, but Mandy was able to reverse it and get out of it, and Mandy Rose ultimately picked up the victory. I don't know what this means for Becky Lynch. She's not in a good spot right now. She's been on a losing streak lately. She got in the way with Asuka's match last week, causing Asuka to lose. I really just don't know where they're going to go with her from here. So I really hope that they develop a storyline that she can be a part of and that she doesn't kind of just disappear into the background. Because Becky Lynch she's amazing. She's great in the ring. She's great on the mic. She has it all, in my opinion. I don't want to see her disappear. We had this really weird Bludgeon Brothers promo, and they were talking about having their own toys and asking people to come and play with them. It was really strange, and I did not like that promo at all. I know that they're supposed to be intimidating and that they're supposed to be on the weird side. Well, if they wanted to capture weird, then they got it. They captured it. It was very strange. So moving on to the last match of the night, we had Daniel Bryan versus Rusev. This one kind of tore me in two because I honestly had no idea who I wanted to win this match. Daniel Bryan, you cheer for Daniel Bryan for obvious reasons. He's the underdog. He always has been the underdog. And now he comes back from this, this miraculous comeback from a situation where he was told that he was never going to wrestle again. So you have to cheer for him. He's not only is he an amazing talent, but he's just the underdog. Who doesn't want to cheer for the underdog? And then you have Rusev, who is also, in a way, the underdog because he's kind of been put on the back burner by the WWE. I love the fact that the WWE is listening to the fans. I know that the fans didn't like, especially in Twitter, they didn't like the way that Rusev was buried at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and they don't like that he's losing all these matches. But you know what? He's getting TV time. He's getting screen time, so there's really no reason why any of us should be angry about that. Tonight, they made Rusev look great. Daniel Bryan looked great, as always, but Rusev looked phenomenal. Rusev took Daniel Bryan towards the beginning of the match. He took Daniel Bryan, tossed him over a table, to which Daniel Bryan was looking pretty bad after that. He starts picking up momentum eventually. He starts feeding off the crowd, and those yes chants, and gets those yes kicks going. Rusev, at one point in time, delivered a kick right square to the middle of Daniel Bryan's neck, and you could hear the connection from that. It was a great, great kick, and he almost picked up a near fall victory. The crowd is really split during this one. We heard "Let's Go Bryan" followed by Rusev Day chants, and that's kind of what I was saying earlier with I didn't know who to cheer for because my heart was literally split. I love Rusev Day and I love Daniel Bryan, so this was a really difficult match for me. It was a great wrestling match. Some great wrestling talent shown. Daniel Bryan got the yes lock locked in momentarily on Rusev until, unfortunately, when he got the yes locked in, Rusev was right by the ropes. So Rusev was able to just pretty much reach up and grab the ropes, and Daniel Bryan had to break right away. As we seen early in the match, Daniel Bryan had targeted Rusev's wrist, and you could tell later on in the match that that wrist was still bothering him. At one point in time, Daniel Bryan, he jumped off the ringside apron and took out both Aiden English and Rusev. And then Rusev gets back into the ring, hits the Asuka kick, and gets the pinfall. I was so excited when he picked up that pinfall because, like I said, there's been a lot of people that have been upset that they weren't pushing him, or that, they're making him lose all the time and all this stuff. I love that they made him win. One, I love Rusev Day. Two, I think he is an amazing talent. I love what they have going with Rusev Day right now. I don't like what they did last week when Lana was kind of suggesting that Aiden English was holding Rusev down. I don't know if they were trolling us fans, because I know a lot of fans on Twitter especially came out and they're like, oh, great, now they're going to break up Rusev Day, and all this stuff. So I think that might have been a way for WWE to kind of troll the audience a little bit. And, you have to remember that the company is under so much stress nowadays, because it's not like the way it was in the Attitude Era anymore. You don't have people just watching on television at home or ordering pay-per-views at home anymore. You have people who have instant access to these results and are able to instantly go on Twitter, go on Facebook, Instagram, wherever, and instantly critique everything that these wrestling superstars are doing and everything that the company is doing. So they have to not only give us what we want, but yet they have to not give us what we want, if that makes sense. They can only give us what we want to a certain extent, because they have to do what's best for business. Honestly, I think that pursuing Rusev Day is what's best for business at this point in time, just because of, the Rusev shirts, how much they were selling. And you can hear the crowds. It's like Daniel Bryan. You can hear the crowds chanting for Daniel Bryan just as you can for Rusev Day. Every major match that they've been announcing in the ring, the crowd is chanting Rusev Day. They want to see Rusev in these major one-on-one matches for the WWE Championship or the United States Championship. They want to see it. So I love the fact that they gave him the win tonight and that they gave him the opportunity for Money in the Bank. Anyways, guys, that is it for the SmackDown Live review tonight. I want to thank you guys for joining me and listening in. And I also want to thank you for bearing with me. My brain is a little scattered at times, especially lately with these migraines that I got going on. But I just want to thank you for bearing with me, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good one.